Good evening, salutations, my Days of Alliance fans. I'm gonna be honest. For the most part, for the majority, I did enjoy this episode. There's, of course, part of this episode that was, honestly, tell you the truth, it was just terrible to watch. And I think at this point, everyone already knows the part that I'm talking about. Okay. Um, let's start off on a happier note about the stuff that I did like. And we'll start off with Christian or Evans and Orpheus. So Evans is not there pacing around back and forth. And Orpheus is like, yo, listen, we're going to get out of here today. The only thing that you have to do is keep your head down, do your job, and it's smooth sailing. Okay? Just remember that term. Smooth sailing. So Evans is like, all right, cool. I got you. Now, Kristen was on the phone with Brady and she wanted to see Rachel. And Brady was like, yeah, this is not really a good time. Like, I don't think that she should be, you know, going to a prison and stuff like that. Like, she's kind of sensitive right now. It's not good. Also, um, she got really upset at the fact that Rachel is with Teresa in California. And she was mad because she was like, yo, you didn't even sit there and run it by me or anything like that. It's just like out of nowhere. And listen, Kristen has done some very terrible things. Okay. But maybe it would have been, it might have been, it might have done a little harm to sit there and just kind of give her a heads up. Hey, just let I, had her stay with her brother, whatever. Um, since she really enjoyed it out there. I felt like maybe a heads up wouldn't hurt, you know? Because at the end of the day, you can't change the fact that Kristen is Rachel's mother. You can't ignore that. So I felt like maybe he should have done at least that instead of just last minute finding out after she got settled and everything like that, thinking she's going to be able to see her daughter, to be blindsided by that. So she's angry, and after a while, he was like, you know what, listen, I'm not dealing with this. So Brady hangs up. She gets upset, and she hits the wall. Now, at some point, she's in the infirmary, whatever, and she's waiting to see a doctor. And she runs across Evans, and, Evans like, yo, listen, I can get some ice. Because it's going to be about 2 or 3 weeks before you see a doctor. I'm like, damn. So, first she snaps at him, but then she's like, I'm just upset because, I miss my little girl. And Evans was like, I get where you're coming from. I miss my son. And right then and there, he should have just stopped. Okay? He should have just stopped because she knew who he was. And the minute she was up there, like, the minute he started talking, he got way too comfortable and he was all like, oh, well, I got good news. And it's like he had to share it with somebody because they bonded over the fact that they both missed their children. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but she's still an inmate, though. And an inmate, is just looking for an opportunity at this point. Not all inmates, but most of them are looking for an opportunity. You pretty much just gave it to her after you literally was talking about Orpheus, keep your head down, smooth sailings. But he gotta sit there and find some food to eat to rock the boat. So he starts talking about his other son, and he's all like, oh, I'm gonna get out, I'm on parole and everything like that, and I'm gonna be, getting out soon. And Kristen was like, no, you're not. You're not. He wasn't granted parole. And she practically was like, your rap sheet is almost as long as mine. There's no way. So at this point, she's like, yo, I want to know how you're getting out. They start talking. Next thing you know, she practically has him in like I don't know, a chokehold. She got a pen. Because at first she started threatening him. And, I guess she grabbed like a pen. And she's like, yo, listen, I'm going to sit there and literally stab you in your eye if you don't tell me what I want to know. So finally, she scares him into just spilling the beans. Oh, my dad got a plan to get us out of here and everything like that. So she's like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go and grab a piece of paper. And I want you to give this note to your dad. So he comes back, and Arthur's like, yo, you're not doing your shift yet. I told you to keep your head down and don't do anything that's going to, jeopardize your freedom. So he just has that look in his face like he know he effed up badly. And he comes in there, and he just gives her a note. And, he puts on his readers. That's what they said. That's what they call him. He puts on his readers, and he reads the note. I'm laughing my ass off because I already know. I already know his energy, his vibe. The minute he got done, he was like, "You idiot." I was laughing my ass off. He was like, but Dad, you don't understand. Christians are mean and scary. He didn't say that, but he's like, listen, what's done is done. Now, before then, he talked to the governor. And apparently he has some sort of file, something that I guess the governor did that he wants to sit there and bury. The governor is with Paulina and Abe because, Paulina wanted to sit there and try to make up what she did as far as, him taking a hit. So try to make him like the next governor. So they're talking and everything like that. Abe didn't know at first, so he was not too happy about it. But the governor took a phone call from Orpheus, and Orpheus threatened him. Apparently, he must have did something that he thought he buried away or whatever. But, Orpheus was like, no, you didn't. I know what it is, and I want you to come down to the prison so we can have a talk. Because you're pretty much going to do what I say at this point. So the governor leaves, comes down to the prison. He's like, listen, this is what I want. Pretty much tells him I want us to leave. I want me and my son to leave, and you're going to make that happen. Find a way. I don't care how you do it. Just make it happen. Otherwise, well, you'll be in here. So he left. And, of course, after Evans told Orpheus about what Kristen wanted, which was her, release, towards the end of the episode, the governor, I guess, he made a press conference, and he was like, yeah, well, we got a pardon. Now, what I didn't understand is I got to sit there and watch it again. I know he gave freedom to Evans, Orpheus, and Kristen. But I could have swore, and I could be wrong, that he gave Orpheus like, oh, you're gonna be the next governor. No, I don't think he did that, but he did pardon him. And I knew the minute that Kristen knew about their plans to leave, there was no way that she was just gonna sit there and pass that off. So it's pretty amazing. She decided to turn herself in, and this opportunity just fell right in her lap. I'm pretty sure she's a smart person, and she would have figured out some sort of way to eventually leave. But it just so happens that whole thing just fell in her lap. So towards the end of the episode, Brady and Chloe were sitting there hanging out, and after being stressed out about Kristen, they decided to watch TV. And the minute that they did, they hear that Kristen, got a full pardon. So it was like one dreadful conversation with Kristen, and he was like, all right, well, let's not get to wash my hands from her. I don't have to see her, whatever. And then he finds out that she's coming home to Salem. So, yeah. And Kristen will sit there and fight for, like, visitation rights and things of that nature. She has the money to do it. So, almost forgot. Kristen's crazy. You still think it's a good idea to be hanging out and shacking up with Brady? The last time she decided to be with Brady, eventually she wound up being put in the trunk of a car and shot. So, and which is the reason why, which is another reason why she decided to go out with Philip, because being with Brady was dangerous. But now she's all like, "Oh, the boogeyman or the boogie woman is in jail, so she can't sit there and harm me." And now I get to sit there and cuddle up with Brady, and now that's not going to happen. So that should be fun. Well, so much for being the next governor in the state. I mean, in the beginning, once he left, he wasn't too happy about it. I don't know why. I think it was maybe just it was a surprise that like she did behind his back sort of kind of thing. But she explained why, and she was like, he would do a lot of good, being the next governor of the state, and he would. So it wasn't like he was too mad about it, and he was like, "Yo, listen, we didn't get anything saying that he was going to endorse me or anything." So I'm glad that he was not getting his hopes up, or at least too much, because I don't know if that's going to happen. It may still happen. It may still happen. It's not like like him pardoning three people doesn't mean that he still can't endorse him for state governor, which I think will be a good idea. But I'm just wondering, maybe he lives there. So I mean, here's the thing. I'm sitting there thinking like, if he gets appointed to state governor, will he still be in Salem? And I'm assuming that he would still be in Salem. You gotta sit there, I guess, think about it. Like, this actor has been on the show for a very, very, very long time. Okay, I remember seeing old clippings of him with the fro and the mustache and the 80s look. So I don't think he's going anywhere. It should be interesting though. And now we get to the part of this episode where I just couldn't stand. I've been saying this for a while. Listen, if anyone is enjoying this love triangle thing, then that's good for you. And I'm not knocking you. It's just me personally. It's just one giant headache. One giant headache brought on by three people. Um, and it's came to a head. Ali saw them kissing, and she got upset with Johnny, and then they started going back and forth, and Chanel tried to like calm the situation down, and she was all like, "No, well, I needed space and time, and you two are on my, constantly in my face, it's like they're pressuring me." And Johnny was like, "Listen, at the end of the day, you have to make a choice because this whole thing isn't working for anyone." And you know what? The fact that Ali agreed with him was like, y'all need to do something because this is just annoying and it's enough. And in reality, it's getting those two to tear into each other. At one point, Ali wound up hitting Johnny in the stomach, and I'm like, what are we, 12 now? Like, what are you doing? And as much as I don't like Ali, is like this whole situation is getting her to a point where this is what she's acting like. And I'm like, you're a grown ass woman with a son. Like, what are y'all doing? And then I got to one point where Chanel pissed me off so much, which is why I can't stand this whole storyline. Chanel started sitting there talking about the woe is me crap. Oh, I got dumped by both of y'all and this, that, and the third, and I should sit there and say the hell with both of y'all. And I was like, do it. Do it. Because at the end of the day, Alicia will sit there and put me out of my misery. And I sit there and see you three idiots that they're arguing and bitching and fighting like a bunch of high schoolers. Like, it got to a point where it was just like, I'm so done with this stupid. I hate it. I genuinely hate it with a passion. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn who goes out with who. Because right now, at this point, all three of those jackasses are annoying the living hell out of me. So when she said that, I was like, do it. Do it. Just choose yourself. Choose somebody else. Honestly, tell you the truth, I wish they would just throw in another character, and this way she could just choose that person, and this whole stupid love triangle thing could just be done. This whole, oh, well, you don't understand how hard it is for me. But no one cares. No one cares. I'm so sick and tired of even her whining and, oh, this is such a hard choice. I got two attractive people that want to be with me. Poor you. Like, seriously? You know, I'm gonna just get through this because the more I'm thinking about this, the more it's just pissing me off. So eventually, she's like, all right, I'm gonna sit there and choose. I'm not gonna do it right now with both of y'all just kind of staring at me. I'm gonna sit there and let y'all know tomorrow, or whatever. So she leaves, and Johnny and Allie, with everything that's going on, and they're taking sides of each other's dads. Which, by the way, Ali did not bother to apologize to him for accusing EJ of, kidnapping Sammy. I'm still waiting for that one. Um, but they both agreed to sit there and be like, at the end of the day, we still have each other. Like we're still family, and our bond is what matters the most. And I think that was the part that also pissed me off too, because yeah, I don't like their little bitching back and forth, but you know, they do have a great bond when they're not arguing with each other. And the fact that you're having this one person tear you two idiots apart is disgusting. Okay? This is the reason why in Beyond Salem, why I got so irritated. Because I know somebody was like, what's wrong with little harmless flirting? I was like, a lot. When it starts to break up the bond that both Trip and Johnny had. Trip and Joey had. Now, granted, that didn't happen, but it's something about that that just genuinely irritated the living life out of me. And I get most people may not get that, and that's fine, but for me, it bothered me. And she was like, listen, I'm not going to sit there and come between you two. Now, I'm like, I'm glad that you realize that now, and at least she was a little bit smarter than Chanel, but I don't like that. It just irritates the living life out of me. So at least they did agree, which honestly, to tell you the truth, and now I'm starting to think about. It's like the sad thing is that they can sit there and say they agree now, but I feel like they're still going to be one up, bitching and complaining with each other, and going back and forth, and letting this idiot sit there and drive a wedge between two twins, which is just. Hmm. Now, Chloe came over Sean's house to talk about Bella, to try to get him to see things from Bella's side. And I'm going to be honest, some of the stuff that only one thing that she said made sense as far as the fact that, Sean knew that he slept with Jan Spears, and he didn't do anything. He didn't tell her. He kept that to himself, and that was wrong. That was wrong. I get that would have happened to him was a violation, and he might have been embarrassed about saying something, but having her be blindsided by that is no excuse. He should have just owned up to it, said something, and then they could have dealt with it, and she could have decided she wanted to be with him or not. But she didn't. He didn't do that, and that was wrong of him. But the whole everything else that Chloe was saying was just like, please shut up. Like seriously, just shut up. You know, he's upset that she slept with EJ, and he's like, oh well, you sort of did the same thing. Like, oh, and what else did she say? Oh, when Jan Spears asked Chloe to, when Jan Spears asked Bella to stay away, he sided with Jan Spears. I'm like, well, of course he would. Like, she's pregnant. That's stress and everything like that. Like, you can't have that. That made total sense. Like, some of the stuff that she was saying, I get that she was trying to ride for her friend, but some of the stuff she was saying just was dumb. It was just idiotic. Um, and Brady was sitting there talking to Bella, and Bella was like, "Yo, listen, I just don't know. I don't know if I'm big enough to want to raise that baby with Sean because yeah, it's half Sean's, but it's half Jen Spears, and it's wrong." And she feels guilty for saying that, but at least she's honest enough to admit that there's a bit of resentment, and it's not fair to sit there and put on a child. So I get where she's coming from. But they both of them try to encourage each other to talk to one another. Chloe with Chloe with Sean, and Brady with Bella. So at the end of the episode, Bella does come over there to talk to Sean. This whole thing is just so so out of whack. But I feel like she does sit there and say that things are over with EJ. But I'm like, listen, I wouldn't recommend her to be with EJ because EJ is just gonna sit there and use her. Granted, she does know that, and he has said that to some extent. But the stuff with Sean is just so complicated, and my whole thing is like, if she can rise above that and not have any resentment towards that child, then that's cool. But if she has to sit there and try to work at it, then it's not worth it, and it's not fair to the child. And maybe she should sit there and just swallow her pride and go back to Egypt because it's less of a complicated situation, and Sean could just be Sean, just single dad. That's fine. I doubt they're gonna let that happen. They're gonna sit there and try to push those two together because, well, they've been, dating and everything like that way before I even started watching the show, so I don't really feel like that's going to change. Anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't think I forgot anything too major, at the very least. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.